So I already have my motor pulled. I've disconnected my high pressure, low pressure AC lines. I'll plan on removing the intercooler and pressure washing the uh, condenser, clearing out all the bugs and stuff. You can see these items will need to get replaced. So I got a dryer, expansion valve, all the foam for the Evap box, and all the things that'll go inside the butyl tape and all that good stuff. This system was already converted to R134A. As you can see, the low pressure line is there. So we'll really just replace out the O-rings and clean out the system, and just make it run as best as possible. So Sean Kirby has shared how to remove everything, so I'm not going to go into detail, but the glove box needs to come out. That little side trim here needs to come out, and the bottom panel there where the ECU cover will need to come out, and then in the engine bay a few of the other pieces are. So I will just do a quick fast forward as I remove the parts out of the car, and then show where the evap box is. I struggled a little bit once all this stuff came out. There are these 3 clips that need to come out. I'll slow the video down and kind of point out where they are, but it was a little bit of a pain. Here I'm just showing the 2 screws on the bottom of the glove box that need to come out. The glove box is taken out. There's these 2 screws that are facing upwards and with a little panel. Make sure to remove that and remove the panel. I try to futz around with the clip that was on that top panel. I recommend just trying to rip the entire clip off of the plastic instead of disconnecting. You can see me trying to disconnect the unit, and then in the end, it really just needed to be ripped off. That piece can just stay together. Just remember to connect it back after you reinstall everything. Here, I tried to remove the 3 clips on top of the evap box and the clip that was in front of the evap box, but it actually, I struggled a bit. I would recommend taking out the 5 10mm bolts and sliding the unit out completely. After you slide everything out, it'll give you more room to work on the 3 clips. Mine were extremely crusty, and I found that it just was very difficult to do. I actually gave up on the first clip to the right, and I just pried it with a flathead and broke the clip, or the clip on the evap box, but it'll still plug together. I mean, it was very frustrating for me. Sean says you need to apply a lot of pressure to really just pull it out. I would say good luck to you, but that piece wasn't fun. I probably spent 15-20 minutes just trying to take those 3 out with the box flush against the car. So here I finally was able to pop the unit out, which made everything more accessible, and I just took my time removing it that way instead. And then after those 3 clips were clear, I was able to take the unit down and set it on the ground, and there was one more clip that had to be removed, which was attached to the box. Okay, so you can see the clip that I broke, that I gave up on. Hopefully you can pull it out no problem. The issue with the clip is mine was face backwards. If you look at this black clip, how it's looking with that side facing outwards and a clip poking in, mine seemed to be the other way. However, I don't believe this box was ever opened before me, so maybe that's just how it is OEM, but my clips were all crusty and I just couldn't get them out. So hopefully you have better luck. So to remove or to open this box, what you'll need to do is essentially take out the 6 bolts and then 2 clips that are around the 2 high and low pressure ports. So the screws are pretty straightforward. The clips, however, they clip up and down. It's like a C clip. Do not use a flathead and rip it from the side. You want to stick it in the top of the C and just peel it back, and they'll come out fairly easy. I'm not going to preserve the foam that I have around this box because I bought just generic foam stuff, and that I'm going to stick around the evap box and around the unit. I also got new butyl tape and all the other pieces to freshen up this system. Actually, you can see here, I showed the clip underneath the foam. So there is a clip there, even though you can't see it. But instead of jabbing the flathead sideways, you can see that I'm able to remove it pretty much with ease. I'm just clearing out the foam where that little crevice for the clip is. But if you get the flathead in there and with not much effort at all, you just put it in, I peel it back, and it comes right out. So no force needed at all. Make sure that you do not damage the unit. After that clip is off and the screws are all gone, you can slowly start to separate the box. Don't forget this little sensor. I almost forgot, and thank God I didn't. But yeah, you'll definitely want to pull that out, then slide the top off. There's still one wire from the top of the box that gets hooked on. It's like a temperature sensor with a steel clip that's actually underneath some of the butyl tape. You'll have to keep it together temporarily and then separate afterwards. You can see here the intake side is actually, the exhaust side is pretty clean, but the intake side, you can see all of the just the crap, the crud. It's literally hair, dirt, and moisture, and it's just sealed pack. You can see all the other crap that's in there. Um, the overall project to do this piece at least wasn't terrible. I would recommend doing this every few years and really just cleaning everything out to the best that you can. It does mean that you'll have to recharge your AC system, but getting to these lines, even with the engine in, does not seem like it is that bad. So I'll leave it to you to decide if that's what you want to do. However, I definitely think that this is something worth doing. So now I plan to remove the Evap unit out of the box. I'm just cleaning out the ports, and I cut up some gloves and use the little fingers, the little nubs, as a way to just cover up the holes, since I plan to pressure wash the unit. That really isn't necessary, but I do want to spray it with simple green, let it soak, and then spray it from the clean side out to the dirty side and get all the crap out. So once you have the Evap unit separated, you want to remove the expansion valve. I recommend taking off the small hose first. You can try to use uh, wrenches and something adjustable, but Sean Kirby told me that this unit will be crusted on. It should feel like you're going to break the unit. It's just firmly attached due to all the cold expansion and everything else that's happening. So these units are not happy that they're stuck together. Just be extremely careful not to damage your unit, but you do want to use a little bit of force. Same when you put it all back together again.
I did not make a video of assembly just because your hands are sticky and dirty with all the other stuff. So it is what it is, but you can see I cleaned out the inside. Hopefully you can see that. And put new butyl tape in. I tightened up all the stuff as securely as possible. You'll see back there, there's new foam. So I put new foam surrounding. And essentially I'm going to go to the hardware store and get new foam of these right here. And essentially run this all the way around. I just peeled off all the stuff here as nicely as I could. And I will essentially put the same stuff back, hoping to just kind of refresh everything. But overall, I would say this wasn't too bad. Yeah, I mean, definitely I still stand by recommending to do it. You can see there, the like foam around the edges, but hopefully this gives it a better seal. Just because I took it off, I wanted to put something back. But yeah, I think it's worth doing. So hopefully you guys give it a shot. All right, so I just finished getting the foam from Home Depot, just some weather stripping foam. Hopefully it's the same size thickness, but if not, it can compress. So if it's snug, all good, it'll get a better seal. Since you see the foam is on this side, you're actually pushing this unit towards the firewall here, right? So it's actually sealing on both sides. Much of the same here. And the only thing I'm concerned about is actually this, which was a lot it was like fluffier and thinner, but I figure I can take a razor blade if needed and just get a half profile on this. But here you go. So I want to amend the video and essentially do a quick update. I ended up taking this entire unit apart again. So as in, I took it out of the car because I installed it and I undid everything because I was trying to put pressure in, and it was so hard to get air and pressure in here to clean the system because the expansion valve was installed, and obviously it's limiting the pressure, right? So the water or the flush would just dribble out, and that sucked. I was getting a lot of pretty much like metal material that was from the broken compressor that was in the car previous. Anyhow, I took this off, put air and the flush, the conditioning flush through it using this, and you hook up a pressure gauge to that. So anyways, I did all that, clean it out, tons of junk. I'm talking about like clear fluid, like brake cleaner would come out black. So because of that, obviously I know that the condenser is also full of crap. So I took everything off, and I want to say that it's not that bad. I mean, you have the dryer here, and on the car, I just disconnected some of the power steering cooler stuff, a couple of connectors here, and then there was some plumbing that came out to the front, and you know, you want to clean all that anyway. So essentially I just took out the intercooler, the bumper support, loosened this stuff, moved it out of the way, disconnected a couple of bolts, and it essentially was easily disconnected. Took that bad boy out, cleaned this as well. I asked Sean if this here, it looks kind of crusty and nasty, and he said, look, if it's not leaking, it's still usable. So unlike an intercooler where it's one bar and everything is passing through, it's really just one tube that goes all the way back, comes all the way down, and it curves, and then it's just one pathway. So I think as long as it doesn't leak, the system is efficient enough to cool everything down. I'm going to hit this with some black etching primer per the recommendation of Sean, and clean it up and essentially just run this. And you know, I've done best effort to refresh and maintain what I currently have, and if it doesn't hold up, then I'm not going to feel guilty about spending, you know, $600-700 for that. But relatively easy. I know it looks kind of crazy, but really it's just bumper support, intercooler, and then that. So yeah, I'm gonna slap all this back together. It was definitely worth it, but I'm gonna put it all back together, get that bad boy going, slap it back in the car, and hopefully we'll have nice cold AC. So hopefully this helps someone.